in studio with David.
Wow.
How do you pronounce your last name?
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Van Auken.
Van Auken.
Yeah, Van Auken.
Dope, dude.
Yeah, man.
So you are like a multifaceted man of many hats. Like I was trying to name off in my head before we sat down. Like
Mark Cuban, Dave Van Auken, LeBron James. It's
interchangeable.
Yeah.
Like you barely even noted the difference.
Right.
Like
I agree.
But like you have so many titles. Like what do you call yourself? Like if somebody asked like what do you do for a living, what would you nail it down to if you had to?
I'm a professional dad.
Really?
That's first. No, it's
okay. That's good.
Definitely a dad. Huge family. We have 4 kids. We have 2 boys, 2 girls. Beautiful, loving wife. But no, I think now like it's kind of like a cliche term with Fight Bananas. What I've been doing, I really think I'm like the chief content officer. Like I just want to.
Yeah.
Content is king, and I just want to bring content. Like that's it. It kind of started, with just podcasts, talking to the mic, audio, no video, old school, 2006. Let's just record.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I've been loving it for 15, 20 years when it wasn't cool. Like, that's why I loved it, I think, right?
Yeah. So
that's what I just wanted to do. What I wanted just to do audio, and then it just kept on growing. And now lately, like we've been doing, the whole, of course, COVID thing was crazy for what we were doing in entertainment. And we actually had a huge jump during COVID because people had time.
Yeah, to watch.
Watch and even like come on the show and some fighters, because they weren't trained as much or fighting and all that. So we had a nice little jump. And then, now like we're getting back into the gyms. One of the best cameraman in the world, Eddie Martinez. He's been riding with me. We've been doing our thing. Like we've been in 10 days, like Dean Thomas's gym in Port St. Lucie. Then we go to Orlando, Florida, and we get some great content out of Fusion XL or with our girl, Hannah Goldie.
Yeah, amazing.
Then we're getting Jessica Black Widow Borga out of Winter Haven, Florida. Wow. Then the same day we go to the Everglades and we record with the Spartan Alex Nicholson, who's main event in Game Bred Fighting Championship 2. Couple of days later, we're driving to Pensacola, Florida for Island. It's just nonstop, bro.
And that's just what just happened, not even what's about to happen.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you stay busy, dude.
Yeah, have to. I love
Rolling
it.
Stone.
I love it. Like Eddie's got learning this too. Even when I'm driving, I'm doing probably 3 things at once. Hopefully, the cops aren't listening to this show. But
dude, that's funny. We do a podcast on the road as well.
Oh,
like literally while we're driving.
Yeah,
it's called King of the Road.
Oh,
so like we go do.
Send me the link.
I mean, it comes out on this.
Okay.
It's just like a caveat to like what we already do. But,
right.
Like we're about to go see one of our stand-up like idols, Tom Segura, and we record while we're driving to the venue, so we can like talk about like what's coming up, dude. It's exciting, man. I wanted to ask you like, what was the first podcast thing you ever did? Was it your own?
No. So, well, kind of my own. It was me. Wow, we have like 30 minutes, so we can go into it.
Yeah, dude,
I love this story.
I bet.
I don't love this story, but it's a great story.
I bet nobody ever talks to you about you, right?
Not really, because I'm usually host. I've been on a couple, but it's been more very like, and that's what I try to do even with Fight Bananas. I want to know about the fighters. Like I had the coolest thing with this guy Daniel White, so 2-0 pro, American Top Team South Florida, and I just posted it today, Podcast Magic, a couple days ago maybe. And he talked to me about like going to dinner with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Chris Farley and why he would do it. I'm like, dude, that's what I want to do. Like, how many times can we hear how's training going? Yeah, you're strong. You look great. Like
where's your head
weight
at?
Cut sucks.
Like,
where's your psyche going into this fight, man? It sucks. They all got butterflies. If they're not, they're machines. But so long story short, my cousin reached out to me 2 a.m. My phone's always on. You can see it blinking.
Yeah.
And I saw his text, and he goes, we're big into sports. I love football, basketball. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, let's do a podcast on sports. You listen to Colin Cowherd. My oldest son is Colin. His name is Colin. Him. So, like, let's do it. I'm like, sure, let's go. I've been listening to podcasts, like I said, before they were cool. So we did it. Probably for a year and a half. That's how we met Dean Toole, so there's a lot of ties there. And then we had a bitter divorce, an ugly, ugly divorce, which still sucks to this day, man. I wish him nothing but the best. But we had an ugly, ugly divorce. And I thought, in a way, because, dude, I got a family, money, all this other stuff. So I was like, hey, like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. Like, I love it. I'll listen to other stuff and just vibe, whatever. Yeah. That day, you had the bitter divorce, and then I drive up to Pensacola. I had some work to do up here. And hung out with Dean Toole that night. And he's like, that night, he's like, hey, and I kind of, we were talking through it a little bit, and he's like, well, that stinks, man. And he goes, you know, we were doing some stuff for Fight Bananas because it was a really good brand 8 years ago, 10 years ago, but it died. He got super busy with everything Dean's doing, right? Sure. He's a mogul. And so he's like, he's talking to me, he's like, I like what you're doing, and I like you and the pocket. He's like, dude, you got something, like, why don't you do the Fight Bananas podcast? And like, the light bulb went in my head, and I never thought about it. And the other thing, like, sports is so huge. Like, it's so hard to do, like, a podcast on, like, if you're not Fox or ESPN to do it on sports, it's like, it's impossible, dude. Like,
it's so wide.
Yeah.
There's so much to go into detail on. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I was so pro into knowing all the details of all the college football teams.
Okay.
And now I barely know some of the coaches just because I gotten so busy with, like, MMA type stuff. Right. So it's like, you can only really be a pro at one thing.
Right.
And you can kind of know about a lot of things.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and especially too with usually the fight game is on the weekend on a Saturday night. And it just kind of, it's one of those things it's so much more, not like time sensitive. It's so much more impactful. It's got one night and it means so much. Yeah. Instead of a basketball game on a Tuesday night, and then golf starts on Thursday morning, and then there's a NASCAR race, and then
they go through seasons. Yeah. But like a fighter, it's like their season lasts their whole life.
Right.
Like if they're 18-0, that's a career sometimes.
Yeah. And
you know, but like a football team or a basketball team goes 18-0, and they're like, well, that's the season. They might fall off next season.
Right.
Well, they don't have a next season. It's like,
and like a basketball guy can lose a game and like just walk off the court and be fine with it. Like when a fighter loses, it's like heartbreaking, devastating for months. And it's cool. Some fighters fight 2 times in a month, and then sometimes one guy, Dustin Poirier, will fight once a year. Yeah. You know, because he made it this big and he can train less and be with his family. And all
the last time Nick won, Nick won in 2011. That was 10 years ago.
Last time Nick Diaz won a fight, he defeated a website.
Oh, BJPin.com, right?
There you go.
Wow.
Look at that. Gets the joke on the spot. I like that.
Yeah, on the spot, dude.
On the spot.
I'm a big fan,
like,
bro.
It's crazy. It's like, and this rematch is 17 years in the making.
Dude, there was people that weren't alive that are going to be watching the fight now that weren't alive for the first one.
Right.
That's insane.
It is. So doing the Fight Bananas podcast, went back the next day because I had all the equipment and we had like a room and we had an area. So I'm like, okay, let me see. And probably one of my, and I have so many now, people in the MMA community that I love, family, like Thanksgiving dinner, shit like that. People call. It's so, like, I'm driving here and on my, you get a text and like the name comes up. And my guy Eddie's like, he's texting you, she's texting you. It's like, it's just how it's my life now. But one of my absolute favorites is Jillian the Savage Robertson. Love her to death. I was like, hey, Jillian, would you want to come on the podcast? I know you used to do it. Our first podcast I did was called Locked In. Okay. And I was like, yeah, we're going to do like all fighting. And I really want you to be the first guest. So boom. And it worked out. Time-wise, it was like that night. It was just like so everything worked out. And I drove for 6 hours. So all you do when you're driving is listening and thinking. Yeah. So I'm like, boom, we went for it. And we haven't looked back. That was probably, Fight Bananas has probably been like 3 years now. And just moving and shaking and just ascending and adding and taking away and trying shit and throwing stuff against the wall. That sticks, that doesn't. And then our guy Scott Johnson joined the team with Fight Bananas, and right off the bat he's like, hey man, like ESPN doesn't have like a ESPN podcast. They have like this podcast, and this podcast. And he's like, right away, his like first thing is like, we're like gonna rest in peace, Undertaker style, the Fight Bananas podcast. Like we're gonna do the Dave Van Auken Show. Yeah. I was like, man, I'm just like such a team guy. I'm a builder guy, and just it's not about me. It's like I want this whole brand to move up. Like I want us all to keep on going. He's like, no, trust me. Like the Dave Van Auken Show, you will get bigger and bigger, and then you will bring the whole Fight Bananas up bigger and bigger and bigger. So now the rest is history.
Dude, I talk about this with some of my coaches because, I mean, you aren't always a coach. Like sometimes you were working at Walmart or something beforehand. And one of our coaches speaks about like he feels like he's an imposter. Like even though he knows technique really well, he feels like he's teaching it. And sometimes he's like, he'll hear somebody like chatter in the background, like laughter, or somebody asking about a technique to the partner, like, oh, they missed something, they weren't looking or something. And he's like, in my head, even though I know what I'm doing, they're thinking I don't know what I'm doing. So did you ever go through that when you were coming up where, like when Dean was like, dude, we should do this behind you, or like when they changed it to like your name, were you ever like, oh, I'm not even this guy, but I have to be this guy? Or was it like a shoe-in, like it fit like a glove?
It did, yeah. It did. It fit like a glove. I probably like the best compliment that I get, and I get it a lot when I'm doing the podcast. Like people say like, oh, you're passionate, like you kind of jump off the screen, or
big
we
energy
hear it
guy.
through. Yeah,
lots of energy.
Yeah, and I love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so it's like I want to go to the next gym. I want to talk to the next fighter, or even the fighters we've had on, like shit changes in their lives. So they've had big wins or big losses, or added a family member, or someone like they left the gym, like pros and cons. So it's like I want to talk to them again and like keep on learning them and keep on hearing their story. And like one thing we were saying, I think before we hit the red light, was like I'm just over every freaking mainstream middle class, like, hey, oh, you're a good fighter. How did you train today? Oh, you ran 4 blocks. That's awesome. It's like, no, like these guys have lives. Like they have, they've had a divorce, and they got a kid that loves them and a kid that doesn't like them, and and
2 Christmases.
Dude, 2 Christmas, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, dude.
It's crazy. It's like
I wanted to ask you too, like you're so busy, and like I'm busy on a very small scale, but when somebody's busy like you, like, do you have time to have a hobby, or is your like, I don't want to say it like this, but now that I like preface it like that, not that your hobby's having kids, but is that your only free time away from what you would consider your life? Or because it's not a job. It's something you love.
Right.
So
it's definitely there's been.
Is that your only escape, is like, once you close the door, you're like, Dad?
Yeah, 100%.
There's no other hobbies or anything you're interested in?
Yeah, well, there's...
Or you have time for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't have time for it. It's like, I'm so passionate about my family and my kids and my wife, and it's so much. We have a 9-year-old son, just turned 9, and then we have a 5-year-old boy, and we were like, hey, man, we should have a girl, let's try one more, and we had twin girls. So it's crazy at her house. It's a hurricane. It's Bill Paxton Twister all the time, 24/7. Get home, it's a hurricane.
Jeez, dude.
So, and I kind of, in a weird way, I feel like anytime I'm not doing that, I want to be so freaking zoned in, and I want to like use my time so great. Like I don't waste 15 minutes. I never. And it's like, so I do so much for the podcast, and I love this, and I love Fight Bananas so much. So it's like any kind of free time. Like, yeah, I used to play basketball, and I was a quarterback on a flag football team, and like, and I still love all my friends, and all my friends know this. But yeah, there's some friends I don't see as much. Yeah. And like, I used to see them once a month, and now I see them personal. Yeah, not at all. Like, I love them to death, but it's like I'm so passionate about this, and I feel like in a weird way, the better and bigger we'll get. I probably will have more time because we'll have more people and more things happening, and it's kind of like. Mark Cuban maybe does a little bit less than his office. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because he has a vacation because he made it. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel one day when we do make it, it's like, all right, I don't have to go to this event. I can stay home and I can see my buddy and drink 3 Grey Gooses. Who knows?
Well, that's insane, man. As far as the kids go, are any of them like following in your footsteps? As far as like wanting to be content creators, because dude, that is the generation right now. If it's not about electronics or being live on something, it's like, what is a book?
It's funny. So
they have words.
My oldest son, Colin, he loves to read. He's like a huge reader, but like I come home and like fighters will FaceTime me or call, or like the podcast will be out. None of that matters. But if he sees me on YouTube, because we have like our TV, it's a smart TV, and they're watching Disney Plus, and then they want to watch a YouTube video, and then Fight Bananas will come on. They'll see me on YouTube, and my son thinks like I'm Bill Murray. Like he thinks I'm the greatest thing ever. He's like, oh my gosh, my dad's a YouTuber. So that's all that matters to him. But Dylan, soon to be 5-year-old son, he is Hugh Jackman from The Greatest Showman. He's he's amazing. He is the coolest dude in the world. He's Justin Timberlake mixed up with Brad Pitt, had a baby, and that's Dylan. He's
a lot of personality.
Oh, dude, he's the greatest.
Dude, like my sister has 6 kids, and one time I was in their van, and I didn't even know about this movie yet, The Greatest Showman. right? And then all of a sudden they put it in and they start doing the oh, but all of them, and I'm talking from like 3 years old to 11.
Yeah.
And they're chanting, and I'm like, what is going on? This is insane.
Yeah, like
they love that.
They know the whole dance, and then I'll do the dance for the computer. It won't be great in podcast magic, but so when then our girls, they're born on New Year's Eve. I promised them fireworks, so I made them New Year's Eve babies.
Hey.
So they're like a year and 8 months now, 9 months, and so this is the screen right here, guys. So like the song comes on, this is their dance. This is what they do. They just like keep spinning in circles like this. They just keep doing what Hugh Jackman does.
Yeah.
And it's like they love it. It's like they're dancing. My 9-year-old's like he's in the back vibing. He's reading the book. He's like very creative and Minecraft and stuff of that nature. But Dylan will be the creator of content, TikTok, YouTube, and Greatest Showman 2 when it comes out.
Yeah, he might take over the podcast one day.
Yeah.
You retire and he becomes the
But it's weird. They kind of don't. And it may, I guess it's too young, I would assume. But sometimes even like when I was a kid, like when I was 6, I was watching Hulk Hogan. It was like the coolest thing in the world, And I was like, wow, Lex Luger and Ultimate Warrior, this is the best. But like they don't like fighting at all, and because it's some of them are, like I said, are friends, so like they kind of connect with them that level. Yeah. But like they're not into the fight game at all. They don't watch CM Punk's return on AEW on TNT. Like they're just not.
Insane.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
And then Daniel Bryan.
Oh my gosh. So good, dude.
Dude, they're signing everybody, which is like it gives you the chills of like how WCW, even though WCW was around a lot longer than people remember for some reason.
Right. Way before like the whole NWO came over.
I think their first year was 88. I think I could be wrong on that, but they were around for a minute.
Ric Flair and Sting was doing their stuff on WCW.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they started throwing money around, signing big people.
Right.
And then that's when they started doing the Monday Night Wars, or that's when it became popular. This feels like the second era of that type of stuff.
100%. And then this is my little like fun thing. This is the best conversation ever. AEW, for one, they're doing it right.
Yeah.
They're not like Ryback is a free agent. If you're into the wrestling world, you would know this. But like no one wants to watch Ryback. They don't care about Ryback. They're getting the smart free agents, and they're doing it right. And I'm such a WWE guy. Like I said, I'm born on Hulk Hogan and been to WrestleManias, and I like Coke. And I like watching Fox, and I drive a Chevy. Like I'm a middle class white American, right? But AEW is like pulling me away. It's got so much heart, and so much grit, and it's got a tattoo. Creative. It's awesome. Yeah. It's free, and it jumps off the screen like WWE's cookie cutter.
WWE right now feels like an older man.
Yeah,
and then it feels like AEW is like a teenager. That's cool.
Yeah. WWE's baseball.
Want to like them at first.
It's baseball. It's old school. Like, oh, that's cool. And they played in a cornfield.
What's gonna happen? Like immediately, you're like, okay, I know what's gonna happen on this episode. Yeah. They're gonna rematch like 20 times in the next.
And a mixed tag team, 6-man tag. Yeah. And AEW's in. Oh my god, it's awesome. Yes, it's on fire right now, dude.
I'm really curious where they're gonna take it and how far they're gonna take it, because it does seem like whenever there is a rival company, it goes really high and then plateaus and then falls or gets bought out.
Right.
Right. So what's going to happen? I feel like either Vince is getting things together to sell or something.
Yes.
There's rumors and rumblings of that, right?
Yeah. It's so crazy. I would have never have thought this, but time, everything happens, right? It just, I 100% agree. 20 years from now, AEW will be on TV. Maybe on a different channel. Actually, it won't be on TV. It'd be like streaming. Yeah. You have to stream to watch AEW on their own app. Yeah. And WWE will be gone, or like NBC is going to buy them. Yeah. And like it's going to be, you think it's cookie cutter now. Yeah. It's going to be like,
it really feels like really similar. And it's weird that like Brock was involved in both of these things. But like when the UFC went to go sell 200,
right?
Brock came back.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know Brock took, like, a year off technically right now, but it's like he might be at Extreme Rules, and he's, like, challenging Roman, which is, like, the new Rock.
Yeah.
And John Cena just was on. It's like, it seems like they're gearing all the ratings up real high, and then they're going to be like, who wants to buy?
Right, yeah.
Then they're going to drop, and then it's going to be like, who's going to be in control of the creative? Because...
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, dude. I mean, anybody now.
Yeah, like they're probably like NBC will hire someone. Yeah. And this is what I think WWE doesn't understand, and I think why AEW is so good. And it's like it's like it's a wrestling company, and they have wrestling minds with like Jim Ross and of course the Young Bucks and like CM Punk. Like they're wrestlers, and they want to see good wrestling. It's like so awesome too that it's like so seems like it's such the cool work environment and so positive. They're all rooting for each other, and they're all like passing it forward and passing it left and right. And it's like WWE just seems like, hey, one guy wants to be the champ, get the brass ring, step on everyone, and move on. And it's like, all right.
It's like they make some smart moves, like Big E getting the title.
Yeah.
That felt good.
It did feel good.
You know, but there's not a lot of good feel-good moments lately.
Right.
You're like, okay, obviously Brock's going to walk out. Or like the Becky Lynch one in the title, like one clothesline? I mean, it just kills Bianca Belair's, like, momentum moving forward on that. And it's like, now how are we going to be believing that she has such a strong push? Like, maybe she's going to win it right back. Probably. And then it'll be just, it's going to gear up for WrestleMania, and then who's really going to hold the title for a while.
Right.
You know,
and also too, like I think Dana White always says it too, like you can't, in the fight game, like you don't know who's going to win or lose. Like everyone's, Valentina Shevchenko's going to be lower Murphy. Yeah, but maybe not. Yeah, like, maybe Lauren's got grit, and we've seen upsets before, and that happens, and all that.
And she is on a streak.
Right. 5 in a row.
People sleep on details. They just like, what the cool kids say nowadays, vibe check.
Oh, okay.
They'll be like, they just vibe check. They look, and they're like, that looks like on paper that's going to be the winner. But anything can happen. Like, Nick knocked out Robbie last time. Who saw that coming?
17 years ago.
Exactly.
And like the UFC, imagine if the UFC had, O'Malley or Chimaev, of all these young fighters, all this stuff, and they're doing good, and then they would lose now. And like all their top guys like would win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That's the WWE's problem. Like they win one, lose one instead of just pushing. Like, dude, AEW, MJF. No one knew who MJF was 3 years ago. Yeah. Now he's a legitimate superstar in the wrestling industry. It's like, no, we're pushing him. He's gonna win, and you have to good. And they made a smart move. Like if UFC would like push, the right. They like, oh wow, Chimaev is good in the octagon. He can talk. He has some swag. It's like we're pushing him. But it's like that's the WWE's problem. I think it's like, win one, lose one, maybe push the wrong guy, girl, whatever, and like they always step on momentum. Like you said, Bianca had like in this amazing moment, wins the main event, WrestleMania 1,
like
African American thing. Like
I got chills. I was like, yes,
yeah, it was awesome. It was such a great moment.
Yeah,
and then the Becky thing, and also like Becky's good, and I kind of see where they're going with it, and I get it to a certain extent, but it's like,
okay, her and Seth Rollins are basically the same person.
Yeah.
They're doing the same character, just on opposite sides. Like, be more original. Like, everybody knows they're together.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. But, like, be more original on, like, it doesn't always have to be, like, the bad guy or the heel is rich and famous.
Right.
You know?
And how crazy is it, like, just say for this Extreme Rules, wow, we went into it, wow, 20 minutes of wrestling talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So the pay-per-view is Belair and Lynch.
Yeah.
And Belair is a great good guy face.
Yeah.
And Becky should be a great good guy face. She was the biggest star in the company.
Yes.
And then on the Raw side, you have Charlotte and Bliss, who are both better as bad heels. There you go in the industry. So they're, like, bad. Like, they should have, put Bliss to Bianca. That's awesome. That's new. That's original. Yeah. And then you can do the Charlotte Becky. It's a return, and it's really iconic and awesome. Yeah. It's like, they messed it up. But it's what they do.
It's weird.
It's what they do.
This is like, and I don't know if this exists in the industry of wrestling, but what should exist is there should be, like, CIA agents for wrestling that just go to bars. Or go wherever.
And they hear the people?
Yeah, they're just hanging out. And they just, like, kind of ask questions. They're like, wow, so how do you feel about this? Like, this is crazy, right? Wow. And they just, like, kind of get the scoop. And, like, just a lot of them. And you pay them, like, whatever can be affordable. And just get all the feedback. Because it's going to be kind of a general consensus on what storylines should be happening.
You watched that What If on Disney Plus?
I haven't, no.
Oh, man, that's what it should be. It's like, what if? Like, they change stuff. Like, it's in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And if, like, Captain America wasn't Captain America and someone else got in there, it's like, what if? It's awesome. Go see it, everyone. Disney Plus. Pay them money. They deserve all the money in the world.
Yeah, dude.
But it's, they should do some, like... They mess stuff up, and then it's hard to get back out of the rabbit hole. And it's so fast too. It's every week, 2 shows a week or 3 shows a week, and it's like never ending. It's like, so when they make a left turn, it's hard. It's hard to make a U-turn.
I was watching something. It was a documentary. It might have been one of the A&E documentaries, like the biographies. But I think Jim Ross was saying that they were rumored a while ago they were trying to convert into nowadays where SmackDown was going to be 4 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, dude, it's already too long and hard to watch sometimes. Like, and how is SmackDown like the brand now when it used to be Raw was the brand?
Yeah.
And SmackDown's longer, and I get that you're putting more in, but it's like you should even out both shows to the same length.
Of course.
I remember
uniform.
there was never enough time when I was watching wrestling when I was a kid, like stayed up and watched Thunder and like Monday Nitro, and you would watch Monday Raw, and you'd watch
SmackDown.
And I think SmackDown was on Thursday then.
Back then it was on Thursdays. Remember Sunday Night Heat?
Sunday Night Heat.
There you go, Sunday
there was
Night
like
Heat.
Sunday Night Main Event, but that was like even before that. But I mean, there's been so many shows, but it's like if you pack more into a shorter amount of time, I know the idea or what they were talking about was they could fit more advertisers.
Right.
So you make more money.
Right.
But
you're
going to
lose the soul.
Yeah, like
you're losing.
So what even is ratings if people don't care?
Yeah, no, that's what it is. It is. And even like on our show, it's funny you said that. I had a sponsor talk right before I got in here, and it's like, man, I know it sounds so, I don't know the right word. Like we've like turned down sponsors. We've turned down money. Like we don't want to look like a NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like we don't. Like we want the right sponsors. There's certain sponsors. We want ones to be like, hey, we want to get engaged with you. Like we don't want, we're going to give you this much money for this month or 2 months. Like, no, like no, thank you. Like we appreciate it, but like we don't want that because we don't want to say this is the greatest soap ever.
Yeah.
Wow, September, this soap is awesome. It smells like pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
And then November comes around and they don't sponsor us anymore. And it's like, wait a second, a new soap comes and it smells like scrambled eggs with salt and pepper, and it's like, dude, that's a good soap.
Yeah.
It's like, we just don't want to be that. It's loses its grit.
Yeah, people sell out. They get away from like what got them to the game or to the dance is what people say. Like, you need to stay as close as you can to who you are the whole time. Like, I went to high school, and I probably told this story before, but I went to high school with Trent Richardson.
Alabama running back.
Yeah.
In the
And he
Colts.
blew up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was huge in college, and I feel like he kind of just, as far as like fame or like people knowing him, like when he made it to the NFL, it didn't seem like he got any bigger around here. It was like, yeah, of course he was going to the NFL.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like nobody talks about him anymore. But when I would see him out in public, like I'd be like, yo, what's up? Dude, we had, I don't know, 5 classes together. We talked, we hung out like in our classroom, of course, like we were different lifestyles. So I was a skater kid at the time. Obviously he was lifting all the weights in the school, too much weights.
There's no more weights in the gym. It's like Trent, share.
Dude, dead serious.
Parents
bending
share,
bars. They would bend the weightlifting bars like when he would bench press, and it would be like nothing. Like he would do it. I remember back in the day we had a leg press. I'm getting off story, but the leg press machine in the weightlifting room, they would have people sit on it on top of all the weight that was already on it. And I'm like, you're too strong for no reason.
Yeah, man. Like
what are you doing?
And like, real question out there. This is to all the people. You ready?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck wants to lift weights? Like, who in the hell wants to do that? Like, Juan, what are you doing, Juan? Like, stop lifting, bro.
Okay, listen.
Who wants to do that, man? That's hard.
Yeah, it is. And like, I get he's putting in work and he wants the body. Yeah. He wants the body so bad. And dude, you look good. Like this is probably the best you've ever looked.
You're a good looking dude, bro.
Yeah.
2 cents. Good looking dude, man. Like,
dude, do you want to weigh in on the best looking island fighter? Because there is massive debate. I mean, they're going at each other's necks.
It's weird. I don't know if I should jump in on this because it's like, I don't know. That's conduit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also on top of that is, are we talking active or all time?
Oh, wow.
Because there's so many fighters that have. I mean, Alex Spartan used to be an island fighter.
Yeah.
You got Mike Davis. There's so many people that have been.
Good dude right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it's like, you just have so many people in it. Like
I told Eddie, we're on the way. I'm like, dude, we're gonna have a killer podcast. And he's like, what do you think we're talking about? I'm like, dude, I know it. Good looking guys in professional wrestling. That's what we're doing. You're
yeah, dude, nail on the head.
Yeah,
dude.
thank you.
Nailed
this one. That Cam Bennett's okay. He's okay. Dude, Cam is like one of the best dudes ever. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love Cam Bennett. I think the kids call it like giving it their flowers, I'm going to give Cam Bennett his flowers.
I have not heard that. You're like newer than me.
Oh, dude, that's what the kids say, man.
Oh, word. How old are you?
37.
Wow, I'm 31. And I probably come off a little younger because I'm so silly sometimes. But how are you 6 years older than me and know they give me the flowers thing? What is that?
You got to stay into it.
Where did you hear that?
Probably social media.
You're like, I made it up right now.
It's brand new, dude.
It's who I am.
Yeah, I had to vibe check that. So, I'm probably on my phone way too much, but it's 2021. It's like how I communicate with so many of people in the fight game and fighters, and you always have to plan days or weeks in ahead. And I'm watching shit, and you're watching so many different interviews and stuff that they're doing and gym stuff. So just probably I heard it on the streets.
Word.
I heard it.
Well, since you're giving Cam the flowers, I started my jiu-jitsu journey. I actually started Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu at the same time, and I haven't done Muay Thai as much as I've done jiu-jitsu, but my first day there, Cam was there, and he used to wrestle at pace.
Yeah.
So on his like summers, he would go heavy in jiu-jitsu because he could. He had the time.
Right.
So, and dude, this happens so much with wrestlers. Like, they do jiu-jitsu just to keep them in shape when they don't have wrestling things going on. And they want to learn new skills and like, oh, maybe I'll do MMA one day. This is just testing the waters to see how this can go.
Right.
And dude, it has been a handful his whole career. Like, I probably met him when he was 16. I think he was in a juvenile belt at the time. So he must have been 15. So I think he was a green belt at the time. Dude, and he's always been a problem, dude. Like,
yeah. And he's still so young. Like, how old is Cam? 20?
I think he's 21 or maybe just turned 21.
He's so young. He's got a bright future, huge future. Yeah. Like, he's you can tell he loves it and likes it, like wants to learn, and he's in it. And Cam's awesome, dude. It's and that's like probably my hardest part of being like who I am sometimes in the fight game. Like, I get connected with the fighters and they become they're awesome, their family and friends. And then you go to their events, and I'm commentating the last Island fights. Yeah. Cam Bennett's in the main event. And I'm watching it. Yeah. And you can kind of cuss.
I was in the corner. Yeah, no, you can go out.
Dude, he gets we fucking got no murked.
Sponsors, okay?
I love Cam. He gets murked. Yeah. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, I have a hot mic, and I'm watching. I'm like, I don't know if I said anything. I don't even think I never watched that moment back. Yeah. It sucks. I hated it. I was like angry, and my stomach dropped. And it's like, God damn, dude.
And it was so quick. It was like, it happened, and I was like, what just happened? I was in the corner. So I'm like right there ringside, like same as you were. Yeah. So I'm looking, I'm like, dude, what? And it's just that he went a little too low, head kick, got him.
Yeah. And I was saying it too on the drive up here too. And I don't think the other guy is a bad guy. I don't. And I think there was a diction error too. Like, I think he was from like another island, right? And he didn't know English a lot, didn't speak it well. So like Cam gets hit and the fight's over. Like, the fight's over, and like the other guy gets one more on him, and that was the one that sucks the most. It's like, Cam got hit. And he probably, I don't know. I would ask him tonight, maybe later. Like, did you feel it? Like, he probably didn't even feel it. Like, he got hit and it was over. But like, I was there, and I see him not be able to help himself, and the other guy got one more in him. I'm like, damn, dude, that was the one that hurt. That was the one that hurt,
dude. I've always wondered this, because like, obviously you're so much higher on the ladder, is like, when you do get close, like, people obviously ask your opinion, like who you got in this fight.
All the time.
But if you have like your feelings in it, do you even call a fight? Like, or not like, are you commentating, but like,
or like, if I'm, because we do a lot of stuff with betting. We're super into betting on our show. I think it's going to be a huge avenue. Football took off when fantasy football took off, and you can bet on football. And football has always been big, but like the last 15 years, fantasy and betting, it's huge now. Yeah. And I think the same thing's going to happen to MMA and the UFC. Like, more people are going to bet on it, and then with like DraftKings and FanDuel, like, you'll be able to make lineups and stuff. So it's weird. There's definitely fights I like or lean one way or another. Now, but they're friends and family, so I don't say it.
But is that why you lean one way, do you think? Or can you separate, like,
100% I can separate. And okay. I have bet against people I love.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
Am I allowed to say that? Is that fair? No, I won't say names. But no, because like, I know that maybe they're going through shit.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't train great. Maybe relationship, or maybe I saw them partying on Instagram stories and like, hey, meet me out. I'm like, dude, it's 2 a.m. I'm at home with my family. Like, no, I'm not going to meet you out drinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, you're fighting in 8 days? I like the other guy now.
Yeah. Like, did you hear that rumor about what's going on with Nick Diaz? Like, I know I keep bringing him up. A big fan of his. Like, I really would like him to win, right?
Okay.
That's just my heart. Like, because of you like the vibe of like what they bring to the table, and you want him to keep going. You don't want him to be like gone.
I said on the podcast, do you agree? It's a loser leaves match.
The issue though with that is that Robbie has talked about. He's like, because somebody asked him in an interview recently, he's like, so where do you feel like you're in your career? Do you think you're going somewhere, or is like this is going to be like loser leaves match?
Right.
And he was like, I feel like I'm getting better each fight, and I can still make a run if need be. And if need be, maybe, but I feel like if you're doing it for the love of the game, basically Robbie is Andrei Arlovsky. He's that. Like, he just taking fights because he likes fighting.
Right. And that's awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't have any ulterior motive. It doesn't seem. Right? But yes, I would say... You're talking about them personally, they should leave?
No, not even personally.
Because UFC's not going to let them.
No, I think
if Nick loses...
If Robbie's lost 4 in a row, and if he loses this, it's 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And like sometimes knowing too much, Robbie gets a big paycheck. It's like, what? In a weird way, the UFC's like, who are we going to put Robbie Lawler against?
Yeah,
that we're
and pay.
Exactly, and pay. I think Robbie's gone. And I think it's been, I'm just going to go off on a limb. It's been 11 years since Nick won. Yeah. It's been 5-6 years since he's fought last. Like if he loses this one, this late in the game, I think he's done. I do.
I think that's a smart move. Yeah.
I think loser leaves.
Yeah.
I do.
It's gonna be it's gonna tug on us, you know.
Yeah, and I love them both though. That's what you were saying about Nick, and I get it. Oh yeah, I like, and it's funny. Nick Maximum's fighting on this card. He's a friend of mine. Know him, awesome stud. He's part of that Diaz group. Yeah, and like we've talked off air about him and Diaz and all that shit. So it's like it's cool. I get it. I'm with it, but I like Robbie a lot. Met Robbie. Yeah, Robbie was awesome. I know people would train with him daily and weekly. They're like, dude, he's a genuine good dude. And it's like, Nick got one on Robbie already. Yeah. And I feel in a weird way, if this makes sense, I'm such a heart guy. Robbie, I think, wants to still do this. Yeah. So if he wins, he gets like, boom, he's back. Like he's going to get another Robbie Lawler versus Masvidal, guys. Book it. Ooh. If Nick loses, like, it's okay. Like he's fine without it. Yeah. Like he's been out it for a while. He's okay. Like life's all right.
He has so much going on too. It's not like he needs any of this.
Right.
And I feel like, obviously, Nick is a brand.
Oh, yeah.
And Robbie isn't as much of a brand because he's so low-key.
And yeah, he's
like,
more...
does his thing.
I think, like, his fighting, in a way, speaks for itself. Like, his fandom and the people that love Robbie is like, dude, I watch Robbie Lawler on YouTube, and if you're a fan or love Nick Diaz, you're, like, pulling Nick Diaz smoking or running the triathlon or talking. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. And, of course, Nick's a badass, too, but it's different.
Yeah, I think it should be like a personal thing, but of course UFC is going to throw money around. It would have been more interesting to see Nick come back against somebody that we've never seen him fight, because like, of course, like in the wrestling world, this is like two baby faces. Even though Nick is famous for being a heel,
right. They really are. They're baby faces, dude.
Yeah, he's like Stone Cold. Like he's a heel, but he's real. Yeah, but he's really a baby face.
Yeah.
So it's like. It would have been interesting for him to fight somebody else. Also, I wonder if he changed to 185 because of his little brother.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I heard there was a sparring footage of something going on, and it didn't say what it was, but, like, did you hear Josh Thompson talk about this?
No, I didn't, no.
He was talking about, like, he feels really worried about Nick in this fight. Like, Nick shouldn't have took the fight.
Right.
Like, something happened in the last 2 weeks. Like, that's why... Maybe it went up to 185.
Right.
So it's like maybe he got a concussion or something.
I was just going to say that, like, when he was talking, the interviews, like, went viral and all that stuff, like, he's always been a little bit, like, awkward speaker. Yeah, it's
so hard to tell, though.
But it seems like there is something off.
Yes.
There's something, like, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to give the UFC $60. Can I give you UFC money $60 right now? I cannot wait.
This whole weekend is full of crazy fights, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Real quick, and I know like this probably won't be out in front of it. We're literally going to drive there. I'm going to change and then interview Bo Nickel for Fight TV in a second. It's going to be awesome. The card tonight's insane.
Insane.
It's so good. Devin Adams, I love immensely. This card is one of and I've been commentating on Island Fights cards, covering Island Fights cards for a long time. This might be one of the most packed, stacked amateur fight cards ever. And it's like, not in a bad way, but it's like kind of getting overshadowed a little bit because of the Patty fight and the main event and the boxing and all that. And it's like Bo Nickel's debut, so a lot of people are talking about it.
That's the main event, dude.
The card 1 through 12 is so sick.
Yeah.
Insane fights. Like Devin killed it.
Yeah.
And Bo Nickel's a machine, dude.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Bo Nickel. And people don't even know yet.
It's crazy that y'all have a fight of the night already picked.
Yeah.
But
Mayo and Swindle.
All of them could be fighting.
Oh.
It's so good. Like a buddy of mine, he just got into Muay Thai and he trains in Gulf Breeze. And he's like, I'm going to come out to the fight. Unfortunately, he got COVID, right? So he's like, I'm going to buy the fight. Do you think it's worth it? And I was like, dude, you should have bought it as soon as it came out. Yeah. Like, they just kept adding fights to it, you know?
Even like the last
of course,
week
people are just seeing the title.
Right.
But it's like, it's for different people.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the Reeves,
insane
light heavyweight match. They're both undefeated. They're both studs. Dustin Lampros is here. He was on The Ultimate Fighter and he's in Patty's corner. And I was talking to him at weigh-ins about it. And I was like, dude, like no bullshit. There are 5 legitimate UFC fighters in this room right now. They're going to be next level guys.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Juan, it's so weird. It's like, I don't know what turned for me. And I'm like his biggest fan. I think there's people on the card that they could make the UFC.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yes.
It's the NFL. Spotify wants to have the Dave Van Auken Show on the thing. That's amazing. Holy shit. But Juan can be world champ. Like his ceiling is
people
insane.
Sleep on so to make it into the NFL, you literally have almost no chance. Right. To make it to a starting lineup, right?
Oh yeah.
But
doesn't happen.
I mean, even to do a star in the UFC is almost no chance. But you have a closer chance to make it to the UFC than to the NFL. But he has the skills. That could flourish if he got in front of the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, he has everything in the palm of his hands. It's up to him.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be the biggest star, MMA wise, that ever comes out of this area, and it's awesome. We're lucky, and we'll probably kind of close it with a Dean Toole aspiration rant. I guess it's like he has gave so many people opportunities, and he's like this golden yellow brick road to the UFC, and to future and big spots and money and connecting people. Like, it's crazy how much that guy does behind the scenes. It's insane. And I think I work hard. I think I do a lot of stuff. I think content creator. I think it's nonstop. And when I'm kind of chilling, it's 11:30 on a Tuesday, and I'm like, oh, I had a great day. It's awesome. We did the homework with the kids, and then Dean Toole FaceTimed me dude, I just did this, and this. I got 2 more things. And I'm like, God damn, Dean.
Yeah.
Damn.
And there's
Dean
levels
Toole.
to the game, and people make you feel like you're sitting still, and they're running by you.
Oh, it's crazy. And Dean Toole doesn't run, by the way. He probably got an Uber and an Escalade.
So the way you feel about Dean is basically how I feel about you. You're my Dean Toole, and then of course Dean Toole's a level away. So we got you on. Yeah. We need to chew Dean's ear. I've already been talking to him, but he's so busy.
Oh, you want Dean Toole in the chair?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, let's make that happen.
But we'd probably have bodyguards outside.
True. You would have and also Dean Toole doesn't go anywhere alone. He'll have his crew. He'll have the entourage with him. Yeah. HBO back in the heyday.
Yeah.
They would have the whole clan with them. Yeah, but no, we got to get him there. And dude, we'll send you. We'll slip you the address. And sometimes you just have to knock on the door bring these mics there. But we're doing it here. He likes it. He likes
show up, dude. We will pull up, dude.
There you go.
Don't sleep on us, bro. We'll be there.
You just got to pull once in a while.
Hey, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on, bro. This is really big to me.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, dude. This is the best.
We're going to get out of here. Hilton normally says us out of here, but he is in Tampa. Shout out to Hilton. I hope he has a good time with the boys. But
and next time I come through, we'll do it more time. I want to do it with him too. I feel like we're This was great.
Yeah.
But,
This is like half and half, not creamer.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, dude.
You know?
What kind of creamer?
Dude, honestly, I've really like French vanilla, but
the blue bottle.
Yes,
yeah.
I switched to hazelnut as an adult.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm the blue bottle French vanilla guy, but then I switched to the Dunkin' Donut creamer.
Wow.
And
I haven't even done that.
Whoa.
I'll have to try that out though.
Yeah. Try that.
But
Change your life.
we love you. We appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to this. Like, comment, subscribe, share this.
Share this, dude. Share it.
Yeah, we love you guys. Yee!